Good morning.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
We are sitting in the car. We went out for a little walk this morning. We're helping a family member move today. So kind of cool.
Yep.
So we're looking a little crazy.
We do. It's fine.
She always looks beautiful. Right?
Anyhow.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd take these few minutes that we had and share some of what we've been chatting about this morning. And some of what we've learned, some of what we're still learning in our process about honesty.
So we're a couple weeks into the new year. We're about
3 weeks.
Yeah, about 3 weeks in, and so a lot of people make New Year's resolutions going into the New Year's around their health, around their marriage, around relationships, around work, around all kinds of things, around routines,
Self-care.
Whatever it is. I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna read more, I'm gonna work out more, I'm gonna get healthy, whatever those things may be. And it's around this point, the 3-week mark, that you start to see just a massive decline in people following up with those resolutions that they made. I know for us, my wife and I are part of our lifestyle is we go to the gym pretty often, and we do that not to lose weight. We simply do it because we like how it makes us feel. It's beneficial for us health as far as our mental health, and it's something we love to just have fun to do together. And at the beginning of January, it's just all of a sudden there's all these faces I haven't seen before, and I'm like, wow, it's really busy in here. I was in there last week, and I was like, wow, it's about back to normal. And that didn't make me happy. It kind of bummed me out, because I was like, man, that sucks. There's a lot of people that they probably had big resolutions and big hopes and gave up, and it's just a bummer. And anyway, just something I wanted to share. There was a point in my life when I was youth pastoring that I got to a point where I felt like I want the next level, right? Like I want to move forward. I want this next level of leadership. I was interning, at the time. And but I felt like I'd accomplished a lot, and I had a lot of great reputation, and I want to move to the next level. And I remember I was like, I could be that guy or this guy or that guy or whatever. I'll look at the things that I've done so far. But I wasn't willing to look at my weaknesses and my blind spots. And I remember one day I sat down with a guy who's a dear friend and mentor of mine who'd been in ministry years and years longer than me. And I remember we sat down together, and I was a little mad because I'm like, I'm ready for this next level. I'm this, blah, blah, blah. And I remember he said, hey, he goes, here's the simple deal. And he slammed his Bible down. He goes, can you explain to me, just using scripture, this concept, blah, blah, blah. It was a very simple concept. And I couldn't. And he said, you need to get honest with yourself. And he said, you want to move to the next level, but you haven't gotten honest with yourself about your weaknesses and the areas in which you actually need growth. You have accomplished a lot, but before you move to that next level, something important needs to happen. You need to learn to get honest with yourself. And I was really pissed at him at the time. I was like, what a prick. You know what I mean? And my reaction to him exposed a lot, you know what I mean, about my maturity and where I was. And at the time I was very angry at him, but now I'm very thankful, because what he did was incredibly loving to me. And as part of the reason why our relationship has gone on so long is because he's always been that for me. He's always pushed me towards that concept of you need to get honest with yourself before your growth. Maybe your stuckness is you being dishonest with yourself. And so I guess the encouragement I want to give is that we set a lot of goals, and we look at where we're at, and we look at our current reality, and we can say, okay, I want to make this resolution, I want to move forward or whatever. But we've also got to get honest with ourselves. You know what I mean? We've got to get honest with our habits. We got to get honest about our routines, and we got to get honest about the things that, if I say I want to move forward, I need to be honest with myself about where I am, and I need to get honest with myself about where I need to grow, and I need to get honest with myself about what community I need to integrate into my life or get rid out of my life so that I can move forward. When it comes to leadership, you cannot lead yourself if you lie to yourself. One of the most important gifts that you can give yourself as a growing person is honesty. We have got to get honest with ourselves. And what I say ourselves, me first, right? Like I'm not saying you need to get on. I'm saying we collectively need to get honest with ourselves, because if we're not honest with ourselves, lies don't motivate. Honesty does, right? Honesty, love. It's like it was something that was brought from above. It's like somebody intended it that way when he created us. So it's an important thing. So I think my encouragement to you, if you find yourself, my encouragement to us is what I want to say. If you find yourself now, if you're at this point where it's like, man, I made these big resolutions and I'm just fading out, perhaps it's time to get honest about a couple things. Honest about, am I trying to do the things, do the do's, without first doing the who? Who am I wanting to become? Yeah. What is the life I'm trying to create? Instead of building in a bunch of actions, first say, who do I want to be? And then be really specific. Who am I trying to be? Who do I want to become? So the future me is this, and this. Okay, once I know that, who I'm trying to become, now I start looking at, okay, so what are the actions to integrate to do that, to do those things? But what's one specific thing that I can do this week? So maybe you set out to go to the gym 5 days a week and it's just not happening. Get honest with yourself. That is a big step from not going to the gym to going 5 days a week. That's a giant leap. I would suggest to you this. Let's get honest with ourselves. If you haven't gone to the gym at all, are you really going to sustainably go 5 days a week? Statistics would tell us no. But can I go for 20 minutes 1 day a week? Can I go for 10 minutes 1 day a week?
Well, and remember that inertia is hard to change. It's a law of nature that we continue to go in the direction that we are headed. And so knowing the direction that you're headed has some inertia, and it's going to take something significant to change that trajectory, to change the way that looks. And so recognizing that what you're doing is hard. It's especially hard if you're trying to do it by yourself. But trying to change routines and behaviors is really, really challenging. And making it, how did you say it? Making it simple, easy, and specific. Yeah. Is really going to make a difference in that process. So
maybe it's you're wanting to read more scripture. Maybe you say to yourself, I want to get in my word every day for an hour. That's a lot, Yeah. So what is one, can you get in your scripture? Can you read one sentence a day? One sentence. Let's start there. Start small, start simple, being specific, right? Because the future me, let's say you in this case, if this is you, the future you wants to be somebody that's in their word every day, right? So we think through that stuff. Perhaps we need to be honest about our self-care routines, right? Well, I'm trying to lose X amount of weight, but sometimes I just got to do some self-care and
I deserve this. A glass of wine, piece of cake, whatever. Self-care
at its healthiest place is something that moves us forward and feeds our soul, okay? Makes us better people. 10 hours of Netflix is not self-care, okay? It's self-medication, okay?
And it's probably not being honest.
And it's probably not being honest with ourselves.
About how you're feeling or what you need.
I've never binge watched a Netflix show for 10 hours and then felt better about myself. Do you know what I mean? I've never gone to a buffet and had self-care at the buffet and walked away going, wow, I'm a better person now. I'm really well taken care of. I felt self-medicated, but I've never felt better about myself. Drugs and alcohol is my background years and years ago. I did a whole lot of self-medicating. And let me tell you, it didn't make me feel, it made me feel high, but it didn't make me feel better, So when we look at there's self-care, there's toxic self-care, and there's healthy self-care. Maybe part of the thing of our stuckness is we need to look at our self-care routines and decide which one is toxic and which one is helpful, right?
We're cramming like 5 different series into this one.
Yeah.
Facebook Live, sorry.
We get a lot of free material here, folks.
Our encouragement is all of it starts with being honest with yourself. We're not talking about whether you're lying to the people around you.
Oh, gosh.
We're talking about, are you telling yourself the truth about where you are and where you want to be? You will not make any progress if you're like, oh, I'm probably fine, or I'm probably... Get really, really honest with yourself. If that's something that's hard for you, I encourage you to bring in people that you trust and say, where are my blind spots? Have somebody like Brock was for David of saying, how about this? Do you know how to do this? So getting really, really honest with yourself always has to come first. You can't measure it if you don't know where you're at.
And then we're honest with ourselves, and then we're kind to ourselves. Right? So get honest with yourself, but be kind to yourself.
Without shame.
Without shame. Don't talk to yourself. Talk to yourself better than you would talk to your best friend. Be as compassionate with yourself as you would be with your best friend, and have the grace for yourself that you would expect somebody to have for somebody else. Anyway, happy
That's
Saturday.
a lot. Happy Saturday.